I'm searching anyway. So I sailed across the sea to see if you were there waiting for me, but you were not. So I sailed back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did not. So I fell asleep with a broken heart.
Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Because we are worldwide, we know that it is morning and afternoon and evening somewhere in the world where people are watching, and we take great pride in being here. We thank you guys for tuning in. We are the Recovery Room. We got
Good morning, good evening, good night. It's Christy.
Minister Sean Prindiville in the house.
Minister Sean's been shaking up the world all day today. It's a beautiful thing. You guys, we're gonna have real contrast in our in our colors here, but that's great because that's right. That's what we need, right? Variety.
You got colors.
Color. Who you calling colored? Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite movies.
What's that?
Colors.
Oh yeah, what's that? Sean Penn or somebody?
Yeah, and Robert Duvall. Yeah.
Okay. All right, see, I know my films. I'm a film guy. This is Recovery Room where we talk about everything prevention, everything treatment, and everything recovery, and then everything wellness, and then everything that's on the way to wellness, and it just turns out that we talk about a little bit about everything.
That we do.
We will be soon switching to our Recovery Room page, which I guess we're going to have to open the page back up, and so it's not a closed page anymore. But I think we're going to be trying to broadcast from Recovery Room. If not, we'll be coming here every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 6 to 7. Thursday coming up, we're excited to have Dr. Howell come back and bring a bunch of, and hi, I'm T-Bone. I'm sorry. I guess you guys, you guys just kind of know who I am. But we got Dr. Howell coming back on Thursday, which is going to be really exciting. Hope you guys caught that show and watched it a couple of times with some really good information was being disseminated that day, and we were all excited, and as it turns out, Dr. Howell is excited too, and so he's coming back on a consistent basis, and so this is going to be good. We're going to be doing some graphics and so forth for him, and he wants to record some seminars that we can put on our page on the Recovery Room. So a lot's going on. I'm a proud black man today. I'm a proud black
Me too.
man every day. Yeah, that was part of your dream, right? When you dreamed, did you turn black too?
Yeah. I had this weird dream, guys, that they made this vaccine for the coronavirus, and it turned all the white women to black women, and it turned T-Bone into a white guy, it turned me into a black guy, and I woke up like, what the?
See, that dream is like a culmination of everything that has gone on over the last few months of our lives. If you're not a member of the Recovery Room Facebook family yet, please do. Just type in the Recovery Room, and the guy in the bed will pop up, and just hit the join button. Some people will be joined automatically, and some will have to answer and join. But on there's a lot of people sharing a lot of heart and a lot of soul and a lot of experience and hope and truth and some really kind of hard stuff, but we're all there together. But also we post the topic for the day normally there. Wow is yellow.
Woo!
And what color am I? Is that red? Am I now redskin?
Maybe you really took that vaccination.
The dream is coming. Ontario, for real. Anyway, so we posted the topic for today, and I think today's topic was the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening. We thought, when we started out this year, we said 2020, the year of perfect vision, and for the last 2 years, I've been saying that there's going to be this great awakening, and I know that, my prophecy would be all of this, but, this is the time where eyes are now wide open as opposed to being wide shut. If you didn't know that, well, first of all, we got a thing on the screen, Don. You got to switch us up.
Don, you're in the quotes.
I'm in the quotes.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
There we go.
There you go. If you didn't know that your freedom is the most important thing, Corona told you how very temporary and very fragile that freedom is. Okay, because we were all at a point in time this year where we were all locked in our homes. And I don't know if it's through our own imagination. I don't know if it was a dream. It seemed like a weird
Freaking nightmare.
real sci-fi flick to me.
Stephen King couldn't write something like that.
I mean, like, really, you got the guy who's leading it not wearing the mask, and it's like, it's just all kinds of craziness happening. It's like, okay, we're at the peak of our exposures. Go back to work. Now's the time. We got to open the economy. Economy is way more important than your life.
Well, and I was reading right before the show, there's a whole bunch of restaurants up in Florida, up in Jacksonville area, et cetera, that they're shutting down.
Again?
Health department is because so many people there tested positive for the virus.
Yeah, they were open for just a while and didn't have to shut down again.
Yeah.
And we said that too, right? We said, listen, the only thing that's going to happen is that the cases are going to spike, and they're going to be trying to require us to go back in. And I don't think, as a result of all the protests and all where people's heads are, speaking of freedom, I don't think that people are going to respond the same way as they did the first time.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. When they're saying, everybody cooperated or responded so well, I don't think you're going to have that response this time at all.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And the reality of the situation is that us as addicts, we've been in this struggle for a long time, man. We've been locked down and knees on the neck and all kind of stuff for a long time, and now it's not even being talked about, and it's still one of the number one killers in America. It went from an opioid epidemic, where this show started based on opioids getting out of control, the pill mills and all of this, and then people have switched from prescription medication to illicit drugs on the street, and in creeped in Mr. Fentanyl himself and carfentanyl and all these things that are designed to tranquilize freaking elephants and help with the pain from a battlefield wound on the street now, and with people who are designed to who desire to mask their pain to an extent that they would ingest a foreign substance. Could be anything, and that's my biggest prayer today. It's like, I want, if somebody could have a great awakening, if somebody can have 20/20 vision, and they could have it today, and they can see the big picture. They can see that, hey, listen, I'm killing myself, and this stuff it's poison that I'm putting in my system. And today is the day that I'm going to decide that I am not going to do this anymore. And guess what? Guess what happens then? Down the road, you find yourself drinking Kool-Aid and orange juice and eating wheatgrass and living healthy, and finding out that feels just as good or better than running away from your life and your health. So if you channel surfing today and you run across this recovery room page with these three heads on it, and you wonder what the heck they're talking about, and you stopped here. What we're talking about is what I want to do is encourage you today. I want to be a hope dealer in your life to say that, you know, whatever anybody else says, it ain't over yet. And I know that, you know, you guys are out there protesting because you're probably out there, you know, in the street anyway, you know. And I know that there's a lot of the homeless people and a lot of mentally ill people that are out there marching. You know, if nobody's told you they love you, man,
We love you
know,
guys.
We love you guys like tremendously, and it's just my hope. But like, if we can get one person a day to say, yeah, that's it. I'm just not going to do this anymore. And even if you just can't cold turkey and quit, but you get that thought in your head, then we have done our job. I mean, because we just try to break it all down, and you know, in the world, and this has happened. But it seems like the world has forgotten you. No, absolutely
even
not.
if you start by cutting back, even if you start just some sort of
anything to stop, because see, it's gonna have to be some kind of change, and you gotta change a behavior, and you see, this is what I listen. God knows I love the programs, right? But this is my problem with the programs. If I have a problem with them at all, is that you got people that are coming there, and then they're being forced to change everything in their life all at one time. You know, you can't drink if you come in there. You can't smoke weed. You can't do this, that, and the other. But your real problem was shooting dope. So what is smoking weed and you know, whatever? If those are not problems for you, what does that got to do with the main thing? I want you guys to deal with the main thing, and that is illicit street drugs, the overuse and the abuse of them, and the overdose rate that is just astronomical. People being quarantined and made to stay home. An addict alone is in bad company.
oh yeah.
You know, so you know, again, this is the Great Awakening, right? Wake up and realize what we talk about everything. There's one thing that this world needs, and it needs it in abundance, and that would be the LOVE, love. Love. The more love you give, the more love you get. And this world is in total
heard you
need
say
of
that
it.
in a while.
It's the best 4-letter word you're gonna know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I just, again, if you find yourself here listening to us and you need like some you know, encouragement, here you are. You got. I'm one of them old garbage head addicts. If you one of them, and you got a compatriot in me, I would do it. If it was in the room, I was doing it. Okay, and it took me to some places that I don't want to even think about. But I do want to not forget them, though. You know, I don't want to forget those places that thing took me.
That's what got you where you're at today.
Exactly. So, you know, we got some quotes. You know, we always have some quotes every week, and one of them is exactly, it says coming like exactly that. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, all those people who put you down and whatever, and said you couldn't make it. You know, thank them for making you stronger. You know. Thank them for getting you to a point where you can actually look at them, and without any type of venom or anything, but with forgiveness and an open heart, you can look at them and say, listen, you have no idea what I've been through.
I think maybe eventually, once you get to a point through your recovery, it almost becomes an appreciation once you get to that point with the certain.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Not almost. It is a total appreciation. Every morning that I wake up, I am grateful
It's that
for
gratitude
another day.
that,
you know?
yeah.
And that's what it is, gratitude, that you're not chasing some animal, demon, dragon, whatever it's called, you know. Oh, and we were talking about love. This is from our house to your house. I'm going to pass you a little bit of love. I thought that was kind of cute.
It's kind of cute. Yeah.
You know, so from recovery room to you guys, there's some hearts, some loves, because you know that's what we need. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're disputing that, then you're an idiot. And just be clear that that's who you are and what you are, and if you have, you know, if you want to stay and continue in the Corona mode, I encourage you to stay home.
Oh, please, please.
You know, do not even come and use up none of my air, because the people that I have around me are really wonderful, beautiful people that I enjoy sharing the air with. You know, if you like one of them stinking thinkers, you know, and I don't mean thinking while you're on the toilet, but I'm talking about garbage thoughts, like evil thoughts, and because you know, you got to think about this, guys. All the people now who we're having this kumbaya moment with, there's another group of people out there that are pissed as hell, you know, and they're fuming, and they're probably madder than they were before, or white supremacists and Nazis and I don't know, Black Panthers, I don't know, just all these anything that has to do with hate. You know, hateism is what we need to get rid of.
Well, like, it sounds funny, but like, I always shave my head, usually bald, and I decided, well, people look at that going, oh, look at him, he's a freaking Nazi or this or that, whatever. White power. I'm like,
yeah, he's our guy.
I got people hate me for other reasons. I don't need to have one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's our guy. Yeah. So, guys, what we practice and preach around here is love, kindness, taking care of one another. I mean, and I love it. I mean, that's our life, and we want to share it with. We want you guys to know what it feels like to know somebody's got your back, or whatever the case might be. If you've felt like, you know, all the stuff that you've done, you've ruined all your relationships. It's not so. You can come back and you can rekindle them, and God does some of the most beautiful things that I see when you see somebody who hasn't talked to their mother or their child or whatever in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, however long they've been out there on the road, and they finally got themselves together, and then they can actually see and talk to their people. Man, that's one of the greatest rewards of recovery. Okay, and again, the health benefits. I can't begin to tell you the health benefits. I mean, when you find yourself eating well and sleeping well and being productive, I mean, when you look in the mirror, you're like, wow, you know, you amaze yourself, you know. So, and that's what we want, and that's what we encourage. And you know, all the stuff going on around us in this world today is just designed to wake us up. It's the Great Awakening, guys. It is a time. You know, it's an addict. This dude that now has sparked all of this protest and change was an addict. You know, and so, you know, we always say that we're going to make the biggest change. Well, here's one. This addict made a big change, and then, you know, I don't know how else to look at it. Besides, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to have prestige or whatever it is to make a difference in this world. You know, in fact, it is the common person with an ordinary person with an extraordinary mindset and a goal that have done most of the more powerful things that have happened in this world. You know, so don't think that you are not capable of changing the world. Look at that little 16-year-old girl that does climate change. She's 16 years old and is a spokesman for climate change. You know, what is your passion? What are you really striving for in this life? I know that you feel like you've gotten so far away from it that it's unattainable. Not so. Absolutely not so, because the same attention and the same energy and passion that we put in to supporting our habit on a daily basis, if we would apply that same energy to other things in our life, I'm telling you, we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable.
This friend of mine sent me this thing earlier today. It said, if you were in heaven, you could hug anybody. Who would you hug? And I'm reading the comments. Everyone's like, oh, my uncle this, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, etc. And I put on there, God. I'd give God a big hug.
Give him a big old hug.
And then everyone was like, oh, yeah, that's probably a good one.
That makes sense. Yeah, me too.
You know, so, yeah, that's what I meant to put.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good point. Yeah, I agree.
for those out there that are watching now, if you guys have any comments or questions that you want to ask the doctor when he's here on Thursday,
Yeah.
send them to us now.
Send 'em to us
if
now
you
so we
could,
can put 'em up.
so he could, have the answers for you guys, and maybe have that as one of the topic of the discussion.
Yeah, I posted that
I
up
mean,
there.
he's really good off the cuff, so, but he'd be better if he was prepared for it, because a lot of great information about the effect of opioids on the body and in the brain, and then what medically assisted treatment, which I was totally against when it first came out. I wasn't totally against it. I just needed more information, because for me it just seemed like replacing a drug with another drug. And it really is. Doesn't seem like it. It is. It's replacing one drug with another. It's still an opiate that has been modified
You're very
such that it
skeptical
doesn't.
of it.
Yeah, yeah. And then also knowing that the withdrawal from the replacement is tougher than the withdrawal from the substance. But the withdrawal is going to be tough however it goes, guys. Let's just be clear about that. When we say, I don't mean to make it sound like it's easy, because it's not. It's going to be tough, man. I remember that I was about a week. God, it had to be about a week. I was balled up in a room, and I just determined that I'm going to get through this. And maybe I get enough strength to go out and get something to eat or whatever. But I was not going to use again, and I was going to go through whatever pain. And that's what I said to myself: boy, you're going to go through whatever pain you've got to go through to get this monkey off your back. You are bigger and better and strong, and the world needs you. And I kicked it, and it was hard. It was hard. But it's doable. It's doable. So if you have the desire to do it, let me tell you, I don't know how you do it. See, everybody can do it in different ways. You may be one of those people that needs to go to a detox first. And I highly suggest a Centerstone. Centerstone has been one of the cornerstones in me with helping with people with recovery. I've taken so many people there, and the results have been good. But the person's got to want it. I mean, I don't care what I do, what Centerstone does, what the government agencies do. It's all up to you, baby. And I don't mean to make it like be harsh, but it's just the truth. There's this saying: if it is to be, it's up to me.
And that's complete truth. You can try centers, you can try meetings, you can try the MAP program, you can try balled up for a week or a month, but until you've made that decision,
Nothing happens.
I mean, even if you're made to detox and you've been detoxed and you come back out, whether you've been in a center or in jail, or until you have made that decision, you're going to relapse or you're going to come back out and use without a doubt. Until yourself.
Your alternative is death.
Yeah, and that's.
Yeah, but
'Cause
some
you don't
people
know-
are going
but-
for that.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
you don't know what that stuff's cut with.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
what it is in the first
what
place.
it is. They've got presses out there now that'll make it look like it was even aspirin, so you don't
Right.
even know
Right.
what it was.
And you're taking it as fentanyl, and it's enough to kill you, and it kills you. And for some of us, we're out of our misery. Others, we didn't intend to do it, and then there's that saying, right, that the storm is not your own. And then everything. It's just like all this stuff that's going on with this now, and another police officer shoots a black man. And that one's really weird because they were struggling and fighting and all that. But nonetheless, that officer's life has changed forever. His family's life has changed forever. If he's got a wife or kids, their lives are changed forever. His mother, his father, his siblings, his cousins. I mean, people, and then obviously the person that was shot, their lives. I mean, that little girl will never be able to say hi, Daddy, or take me to the store or to my wedding or my prom. It ain't gonna happen. You know, so it's always a ripple effect when this thing's happening. And then these days, with the cameras just everywhere, we are seeing such graphic stuff that is having a huge effect on us as just viewers of the, you know, casual viewers of the things that are going on out there. And so we've got to take that LOV thing and pass it on through the police department. Those guys got the toughest job on the planet. Don wants to do it. Quote, here we go. Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Fearless. You know?
Get after it.
Get after it, man. Get after it. Be fearless about it. And that's the same thing with your addiction, man. Get out. You got to be fearless about that addiction. You got to be fearless in, no, this is never going to happen to me again.
Yep.
You know?
Up in New York, I was reading this one person, I hate the police, goes and puts bleach in their shakes.
Ooh.
Well, the police officers, they all had to get rushed to the hospital. They're actually still in there now. But why wasn't that shake shop burned down to the ground? Because it's the wrong thing to freaking do.
For sure.
Two bad things don't make it right. 100 bad things don't make one thing right.
No, you got to break the cycle. You've got to break the cycle, and that's as simple as it gets. Again, as far as my addicts are concerned, you're my primary concern. The stuff that's going on around you has overshadowed the fact that we still got a very, very huge problem here, and we don't want it to be swept under the rug at all. This is why we're here. This is why we've been here. This is why we're going to be here. This is why the recovery room is taking on just whole new faces. I mean, I used to do this on my laptop by myself for about a year, you know, and then Chrissy came in, and then Sean came in, and then Don's been around for a while. But we've got Billy on the team now. We've got Dr. Howell on the team now. This thing is taking on a life all of its own, and that's that last quote: "Be fearless in the pursuit of the thing that sets your soul on fire." That was what this was with me. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about fame or any of that. It was about people needed to have a place that they can come to and hear from a fellow addict, somebody who's been through what they've been through, not some kind of book knowledge. You know, my knowledge about this thing comes from the school of hard knocks, that concrete out there. You know, those nights when I didn't know if I was, was going to make it, or those nights when I spent the diaper money. I'm just so grateful to be through this, and I pray fervently for you guys to experience it. It's like, if it's a day, get that day in. To be one of the best days of your life, and not from a pain point of view or the psychological part of it, but a winning. When you get that winning, that achievement thing. Yes, it's worth everything. So.
Last night I reread the first 22 pages from Dora's new book, and heart-wrenching. And she had me write a review for her, but then when the car accident happened that she was in, she lost it, so I had to rewrite the review for her. But when it does come out, hopefully you guys will read it.
Well, let's make sure that we create a graphic for it so that we can put it up. I'll put something together, Don. We can put up a graphic and show her book cover and that, and where to find it, and all those things. Yeah, and she's gone through a lot. I mean, she's like she just had this weird car accident. Well, it wasn't a car accident, right? A tree fell on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right behind her was a huge tree that came down. So if she would have just been 10 seconds back, that would have been it.
Yeah. And that's it, guys. I mean, that this whole fear thing is so ridiculous. I mean, and especially when you start talking about Corona, this many people died. Well, guess what? People are gonna die anyway. Everybody's gonna die. Using this whole "you're gonna die" thing, to keep us in fear.
To me, I'm like, whoop, dude.
Yeah.
I'm already freaking terminal. Guess what?
Yeah,
I mean, we're all terminal.
I'm taking y'all with me.
But speaking of that, I got some doctor things coming up pretty soon. And I don't know, we haven't really talked about the fundraising.
No, we
thing for
haven't. Let's bring it back up. Let's repost it. We'll put the link on the Recovery Room page, and we'll put it on all of our pages. The link to the fundraiser, yes, because there are some doctor's appointments, and you know, with whatever this medically needy insurance, it's all complicated, and you got to meet these criterias and deductions and all that crap. And
Basically, the way it works out is you pay the first of the month, the first $3,000 out of pocket, then everything else is covered for that month. But then on the first, it starts up back all over again.
yeah, and they said something we got to figure out that medicine too.
Yeah.
Figure that one out.
Well,
Don
we
is
went
just
blue.
switching and switching over there, Mr.
Everything.
Switcher. He's a switcher.
Inferior equipment, sorry.
Inferior equipment. That problem being solved. Thank you, Billy, for stepping up and stepping up and stepping us up. Man, I can't wait to see all the bells and whistles of this new technology that is just so amazing to take. And the crazy thing is that the new equipment that we're going to get is going to be old, like within.
yeah, you can order a brand new laptop. By the time you get to your door, it's already outdated. You know, you're like, what?
Yeah. So, what else?
Woohoo! Glenn said he's clean another day.
Glenn,
Woohoo,
good
awesome.
to see you, brother. Hey, listen, I'll be at church on Sunday. I'm working on the 21st. I'm gonna be there once a month, at least. I guess I'm not available those other days, but if you're there Sunday, I'll see you on Sunday. So yeah, just God, doesn't that just make you feel good? Somebody that you know that's struggling, but they're never giving up on the struggle. I love that about you, Glenn. You know, you ain't giving up, man, and congratulations. And string them together, man. You'll be surprised how quickly they string together. I told you at the beginning of the year, it'll be June soon. Here we are. You know, it's like time travel. You know, I mean,
Is it just me, or does it seem like it's just a blur since January?
Total
You know?
blur.
I mean, because I'm a little blurry for my meds anyways, but,
Yeah.
you know.
And man, I got gig number 2 in the last 2.5 months this Friday.
Where will it be at?
Woo! Same place, the only place that hired me right now. Punta Gorda Yacht Club. If you're down in the Punta Gorda area,
You
the
can't
Isles,
come.
the Isles. I don't know if you remember, you can come.
But
You know, but I mean, they'll let guests, because you know you gotta have guests come in to see what the place is like, and
You should stop by the VFW when you're down
I
there. See
should
my buddy
stop down.
Will.
I should go down. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna be riding with George, but yeah, I need to see him because I know they're opening up too.
Well, they found a loophole in the thing. They serve the food at breakfast and lunch, and then they don't serve any food at dinner so they can get more people in there. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. So.
Well, I mean, if it works
Yeah.
for another
It's-
business, yeah. No.
Well, because if it's a restaurant, you can only allowed to have half the capacity.
Right,
So,
right. So if you're not a restaurant, if you're not serving food, you can have everybody.
but isn't the VFW considered like a private club, kind
It's
of in a way,
kinda.
because you have to, you know.
It is kind of. Well, they still got to go by guidelines and so
Right.
forth too. So who we got on today?
we got Glenn.
Hey, Tonette, how you doing?
I'm Jim.
Hey,
Judy.
Jim Copeland. Hey, Judy.
Sean.
Sean.
Uh-oh,
There's Sean.
am I two places at once?
Thank you guys for tuning in. You know, we do this every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we talk about a lot of stuff. But you know, at the end of it, what we wanted, our goal and our mission is to get people to just care for one another. You know, again, the more love you give, the more love you get. You know, it's just the way that it is, and so I'm really encouraging you guys to just go that extra mile, man. To make that extra little bit of effort to do something good for somebody other than yourself. You know, pray for somebody other than yourself, and if you get the opportunity to be a blessing, because you've been blessed, and do it. Because you know somebody's grandmother in California is praying for their little baby boy, baby girl over here, granddaughter, grandson over here in Sarasota, and that prayer can only be answered through a person. You You know,
That
God
person
works
could
through
be you.
people, and that person. So if the opportunity comes up, don't turn your head. Don't not do it. I know it's a double negative. Don't not, but that's how serious it is. Don't not do it. Do it, and you'll be surprised. Because you know, love is the simplest of things to share. You know, I mean, if you share too much of your money, you're done. You know, you broke, hungry. But love, you can just keep giving and giving and giving, and it never runs out, and it never fails. It just never fails. I gotta find that quote about love never failing.
Yeah,
I was going
you
through my
off that
phone.
train for a minute.
Yeah.
And I was like
Okay,
trying
I'll
to
do.
contact everybody that I know, saying, "Hey, I love you, I was thinking about you." I was like, "Dang, I know a lot of freaking people." You know, it was like,
yeah.
you know.
And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
you know, I posted the movies that will be showing
Oh, yeah.
on Wednesday and Saturday.
As soon as Donald gets back, we'll do our.
But for you guys that don't know out there, we at the plaza here, the Nico Farmers Market, every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 o'clock, they do a drive-in movie here. It's kind of really cool. It's for free. You know, Wednesday is more of like a kids thing. They got Mr. Deeds playing this Wednesday
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock. And there's restaurants in here, Subways. There's a Chinese restaurant. There's ice cream parlor,
Yeah.
etc. There's a Dollar General if you just want to get chips, something like that.
Yeah.
And
It's very cool.
it's way cool. And
Spread
it's
out,
free.
nice big parking lot.
Yeah, and you're doing the distancing. You're in your car, and the drive-ins are coming back really strong. I understand because of Corona, and I think they're going to continue to strive because people found, wow, this is some old. It's like it got a little retro kind of feel to it, and then also new to some people. You know, and I mean, if you've been stuck in the house for a long time, and obviously you haven't gotten your unemployment or something, this is a free thing that you can do with your family. And I think that as we go along, obviously we'll be able to provide some stuff for some people who can't afford it or whatever the case is, because this is the people that we deal with and everywhere in our life. They're the most giving people. Giving back is the goal always. Okay, and so the drive-in tomorrow, like you said, is what tomorrow is?
Mr.
Deeds.
Mr. Deeds, yeah.
Okay, and then Saturday we have
Seasons 2?
Season 2, yeah.
of Adam Sandler, is that?
No,
No,
Sandler's Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds, okay. Yeah, I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan, so I don't know. He's a good guy, I'm sure. Hey, how you doing? Hey, we got some people who make this show happen, so let's give them a
Who makes this happen?
little props right now.
Recovery room.
The recovery room is brought to you by these very fine folks. These very fine folks. No, these very fine. POWarriors.com, the website created to connect our brave men and women of the armed forces, first responders, and medical personnel to our community of businesses and services that honored their service. POWarriors.com, protecting our warriors who protect us.
Spice up your next event with the Hammock Haven Experience. To find out more, go to thehammockhaven.com or call 941-201-5226. The Hammock Haven. Chillax a minute.
Yeah, the Hammock Haven. Hey, but the Nico Farmers Market, I mean, guys, it's so freaking cool. It's going to be the largest open air indoor air conditioned market on the west coast of Florida. And they're talking about doing already one on the East Coast. 110 or so, 20 vendors. all under one roof with a variety of things. And also, as we said, there will be Wednesday night and Saturday night. We got the drive-in here, so it's going to be a bustling little area, and that's what I love about these people, because that's what they want. They want to be part of this community, and to be part of the community, you got to give back to the community. And so there'll be opportunities for vendors to be outside selling stuff. There'll be live music, bounce houses. Just a good old time every weekend, and we get the opportunity to put all that together, and we're really excited about that. If you are a vendor and you've been looking for a place to open that's inexpensive, you may want to check out the Onikos Farmers Market you can find them on Facebook and reach out to them and see, if there are any spaces available. Obviously, there's an opportunity to be in line in the queue, so to speak. If a business does leave, the next, you can be the next one to come in or whatever. But it is going to be a built-in, shopping extravaganza.
And there'll be minimum 6 food vendors here as well.
Minimum 6 food vendors, including our great friends from 421 Sweet Treats.
Oh, yes.
Be their new venue, and understand that the fire marshals are coming around and things are coming together, and it's just a matter of time. Don and I've been hanging with them since last July. So we're almost a year into this project, and we're still doing it. And so and they allow us to use their facility, and we're really grateful for that, for sure.
Another part of them giving back.
Yeah, they're great. What's our next quote? I think we got another. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that in a minute, Don. Your buttons will work.
Yep.
And it's all the way on the side of the thing, moving it over.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da-da-dum. Kindness. What a simple way to tell another struggling soul that there is love to be found in this world. Leave that one up. I don't even want to see myself no more. Leave that one up. Kindness. What a simple way to tell another struggling soul that there is love to be found in the world. Thank you. Man, that one speaks volumes, doesn't it?
That no one's. I don't think I've ever known of named their kid Kindness. You hear that's my daughter Precious.
Peace.
So this is
Yeah.
Soul.
Yeah, kindness. There ain't too many been more named Jesus anymore either. Well, Jesus.
all right.
Just a name you just don't go near, I guess, huh?
Well, I saw it on Family Feud. It said that someone's name starts with H, and the guy goes. One person said Jesus, and then somebody said Jose, and it was like,
But you got Hosea.
yeah, Jose.
Yeah. H-O-S-E-A. Hosea. Okay. Porcupine. That's the best one
That
ever.
was hilarious.
That's a classic. Like Steve Harvey said, it ain't the number one answer, but you be the number one person on
Facebook, yeah.
Word starting with porcupine. You can't help but laugh at that every time.
No, I watch it every day.
That's really funny. All right, so the news, we know what's going on in the news.
Unfortunately, it's the same stuff again and again and again.
Well, a good thing, though, and you guys always got bad stuff to say about the press. A good thing he did was sign into effect two things that are happening, gay and lesbian. The Supreme Court had ruled as a result of one of the civil rights movement charters, laws, that it also, in its effect, sex gender. So gay, lesbian, trans, queer, whatever it is, fall under this, and so they've been given a right for not to be discriminated against, and that's a wonderful thing.
About time.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing.
The funny is that if you read the comments on our Facebook, they're like, "And look what this damn president did," thinking that and they were making comments that he was against it.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you read what he just signed,
Yeah.
So-
No, you got to give credit where credit is due, and also
Yeah.
there is a kind of crime prevention, police reform bill, that's executive order that was signed in today too, trying to get rid of chokeholds and all those things that we're going about. And so to respond to the issues is what the job requires, and that's what he did. And so I'm hoping that even Mr. Lemon, Don Lemon, who hates him as bad as anybody on the planet, will have to say, him being gay, will have to say, thank you, Mr. President.
He's not about to. Not about to.
You don't think so?
No.
That's-
I'm going to watch tonight just
Let's wait and see how that goes
I'm going to watch
tonight.
tonight just to see.
He didn't say he brought it up last night, but there was no gratitude in his mentioning of it.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know if you guys saw Dave Chappelle's 846. I'm surprised he didn't say the gay Don Lemon, because Chappelle is like all over the gay and lesbian stuff. Some of his funny stuff is about gays and lesbians. So
He
didn't say anything.
halted at.
Yeah. So he's cool. He did call him. What did he call him? This bastion of reality.
The first time I saw him, I was at a friend's house, and it was I guess one of his first episodes where he played a KKK member,
Yeah.
and I was like,
so
I was
funny.
just shocked, like in total shock watching it. I was like, oh my god. And
No, it's see, that's irreverence. It's taking what is relevant and now and flipping it. I mean, can I have one? And flipping it, and like all the Prince skits, and I mean, he just did so many good. And I'm gonna be honest, me and Billy, we're gonna try a hand at some of that kind of humor, because right now, based on what's going on in the world, we got to get over some stereotypes. We got to get over some old, archaic, draconian thinking. And sometimes when you shine a light on it from a different perspective, people can see it. Obviously, they've been able to see it with all the protests and everything that's going on. But we gotta make light of it sometimes.
And if you guys see somebody doing something that's wrong, don't just sit there with your camera and record it. Step up. Say something.
Yeah, I got it on film. Yeah, thanks. Do something.
There was one I watched earlier, and one individual pushes this 90-year-old lady down, and he's laughing when he did it. But somebody videoed that from their phone, and like, oh, look what he just did to her. That's all that was said.
Yeah.
And
why'd you stand and watch? It's a bizarre thing, because I mean, these things that we have called phones are really cameras.
I think that's where it just becomes like cruel. Where
Right.
you're just watching people like abuse or like physically hurt other people or just do like destructive behaviors.
Well,
Where you're getting entertainment out of it instead of going to help these people.
it's a lot like the last episode of Seinfeld, when they videoed that one fat guy getting robbed. And they were videoing it, laughing and joking, and they all went to jail over it.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, it's like the people in Georgia that videotaped the guy running down the street that ended up
Getting
getting
shot.
shot. That was all kind of set up. Okay, and you come and you videotape it, because we're just gonna. I'm sure they didn't think they were gonna have to shoot him. I'm sure of that, because you don't. Just again, those guys have families and kids and all that, and their lives are destroyed. Guys, we got to get over whatever hate it is. I don't care. And then what we've got to address is anger, and where a lot of the anger comes from. Let's be honest about racism. We were brought here never to be senators and the president or anything like that. So we were brought here to be workers. That's what the whole thing was. It was not. You were not even thought of as a human being. You were thought of as a worker. And there were all kinds of relationships that were in slavery. There was the whole the white wife, the slave master's wife, having relationships with the slaves, and then there's so much. I mean, most of the people that were lynched back in the day were something about a black man that had to do something with a white woman that that was supposedly been like death because you had a relationship or touched them. And so a lot of that behavior, a lot of those thoughts, what we've been turning into this thing of humor about white privilege, it came from that. When you used to own somebody, that is tough to give that up.
I used to manage a nursing home in town, and a lot of the residents, they were basically about close to 100 years old, and so they grew up with all that racism and everything else, and now they were having to have a black person bathe them or help them, but they would go to the bathroom,
Right.
and they were freaking out.
Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Unfortunately, and that's not everybody, but there are a lot of people that are in that age range of 70 to 80 to 90 that lived through Jim Crow and lived through segregation and lived through a lot of the hate and anger, the dogs being in the marching and all that from those days. They lived through that, and so that's kind of where their head is at. But that generation is phasing out. And I got great hope for the next generation. Black, white, Spanish, and indifferent. This next generation of kids they're together on things, And one of the common themes is, believe it or not, hip hop. Hip hop has brought closed the divide like in no other thing, especially no other music. You got more white kids and Asian kids and Mexican kids and whatever listen to hip hop than any other kind of music. And not that hip hop is such a great medium of music, but listen, if it can bring some people together, I'm all for it. Because I remember it was supposed to only last about a year or two.
I remember it was up in Jacksonville. It was like close to 20,000 people there at the Coliseum, and it was Run DMC, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, and Houdini. Sold out show. Like, there was a white guy way over there, and I had long hair there, and I'm just kind of getting into it, and everyone's there to like, what's this crazy fool doing, And it was just
now it's common.
Now it's like,
So the more things change, the more they stay the same. But there's some change though, and that's the thing that we want. We want to see some real change. I want my grandkids to grow up in a world where it doesn't matter the color of their skin, but as the late Martin Luther King said, would be the content of their character. The type of person that they are. Whoa, there's a quote.
Here we go.
Just right on time, Don. Thank you. Just when the butterfly thought the world was over.
caterpillar.
Yeah,
You said butterfly.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. And that's classic, right? Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it spread its wings and showed its magnificence and beautiful colors. Anytime a butterfly flies around me, I think, okay, that's special. I'm trying to find, hey, Miss Butterfly, because, those things they're special. They're not a whole bunch of them, and when you see one, you got to feel like, wow, you're in a little special space. But yeah, no, guys, just when you think it's over, just when you think the world is totally against you and there's no hope and there's no thing, no, break out of your cocoon, that cocoon of addiction. Break out of that cocoon of addiction and spread your wings. And you know how you ever seen that thing come out and they all liquid, they're all moist and gooey and stuff, and you gotta shake it off.
Don't forget, you can start late, start over, be unsure, act different, try and fail, and still succeed. So you can stay in your cocoon and then still come out as your beautiful butterfly, as you're ready. Can be the rarity and be your what, 9%ers? But you can be that butterfly.
Yeah, man.
I know we said it before a whole bunch of times that when Thomas Edison was asked about the light bulb, like, why didn't you stop? You failed over 2,000 times.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't fail.
Yeah.
I found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah, that didn't work. The only thing that beats a failure is a try. Try again. If first you don't succeed, try again. Now listen, I'm gonna say, you guys, don't you agree? Chrissy looks great. She's You know what I mean? She's back, and she's got some stories to tell you. She's waiting for her time. I feel it, because that's what's going to happen anyway. Because we're going to break this thing down in segments. I know you guys enjoy sitting us, watching us here talking, but we're gonna start turning this into a production, because we have that capacity now. We got some people that are coming in and stepping up to the plate to turn this into the show that it should be. Even though it's been what it's supposed to be, now it's going to turn into what it's been. So we're coming out of the cocoon.
Well, kind of do it like the way they do is, it starts out with this, then it goes to sports, then it goes to that, then it goes to the weather.
Yeah, we'll have it concrete. Otherwise, all the stuff we're talking about is very pertinent, but we're going to try to get it in some
Like
kind
format
of
it,
format.
yeah.
And so looking forward to that. Again, here's a guy that had, they asked me to do a radio show, and they said, what did you want to do it on? And I thought about it, and I said, well, I wanted, because at that time I was doing a movie, a little short film about addiction. It was kind of crazy. The mother and two daughters, all addicted, all prostituting themselves to support their addiction. And then I just started meeting a lot of people, because it started getting some news coverage. And so I started meeting a lot of people in the recovery sector. And it just became a passion. It wasn't something I was looking for. And then I decided to call the show The Recovery Room.
And didn't one of the people that was in the movie pass away from
One of the
overdosing?
people, yeah. So, been dealing with this addiction thing for a minute now, to the extent that I don't have it's a formal degree, but I think that again having having indulged myself in it completely, I got some pertinent information. There was this guy, right, and he has some work to bring home that he didn't finish at work, and so he came home and he had to leave work because he has a 5-year-old son, right? And so he comes and brings the work home, and he puts it down on his desk, and then plays with his son for a little while, and then his son's all right, but he's got to get to work. So he starts doing his work, and the little boy is just full of energy. You know how they are. Daddy, why is this blue? And and all of that, and the dad had a magazine sitting on the table, and he ripped out a page that had a picture of the globe, of the world on it, and he tore it into little pieces, and he gave it to the little boy, thinking he could buy some time, right? And he gave it to him to go and put the picture of the world back together, right? And so the boy took it, because he's happy, he likes arts and crafts and all that. So he goes and sits down, the boy's happy putting this thing together, but he put it together really quickly, and they brought it back to the dad, and the dad was astounded, because he was like, son, how in the world did you put that picture of the world, the globe, back together so quick? And he said, well, Daddy, you handed it to me upside down, and then on the side, upside down on the back, there was a picture. I think there had to be a man. I saw his head, and I saw an arm, and then I saw a leg and some lips. and so I just started putting the man back together, and then the world came together. And isn't it so? Isn't it so? Put the man together, and this world will come together. The world's going to be here with or without us, and we're only here for a short period of time. The most valuable property on the planet is the cemetery. Based on the fact that a large majority of us go to the grave with our treasure, with our gifts and our talents, our gold is still buried deep inside of us, and then they throw us in a box and throw it in the ground, and then throw dirt on it, and then put a stone on top of it, because that thing is gone. That's over. That dash in between the thing on this tombstone, that is your life. How would you have lived it? How would you have lived it? Did you find that thing that you were fiercely about, that ignited your soul, the fire, the passion in you, or did you just muddle your way through? Were you a wandering generality? I would prefer for you guys to become meaningful specifics, and that's from my mentor Ziegler. Meaningful specifics. Find out what it is you do, and do it fearlessly. Do it with passion and purpose, and your life will be a better place. Should be a benefit to the human race. Any final thoughts, guys?
A friend of mine the other day asked me this: what's your favorite childhood memory? I said, not paying bills. They went,
Mine too.
They went, oh, that's a pretty good one. I was thinking like fishing this one time at the lake or
Yeah.
summer camp, but
Mama kissing Santa Claus. Christine?
As far as self-awakening or awakening, I'm going with, I think recovery from anything, because we are all battling differently, is honestly the most badass thing a person can do.
Woo! Tell her like a T.I.
You all,
is.
everyone has a good, safe evening. We love you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
And so it is. You guys have a good night.
we love you guys.
Love you.
Hope that we'll see you on Wednesday for the movie.
Yeah, come on out.
And
5108,
left me
15th Street East. Bye. Uh-oh, you missed your...
Doggone. Why did it do that? Ooh. Back to live action.
Uh-oh.
Second.
Hi, we're back. According-
happened
this is the
was-
world according to Donald.
Yeah.
We can start our show anytime. We're starting Thursday's show. Here we go.
There's no change real
Practice ending. Practice ending number 2.
Yeah, practice ending
It's
number
luckily we
2.
weren't talking smack or eating,
Yeah,
picking
no,
boogers.
we were.
Speak for yourself.
And goodbye again. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace
So it
out.
is.
We love you guys.
See you Thursday with the doctor.
You sailed away and left me with nothing to say. You already knew I would come searching anyway. So I sailed across the sea to see if you were there waiting for me, but you were not. So I sailed back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did